Why would Bassmaster restrict anglers from live streaming? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. Why would Bassmaster in the Elite Series prohibit anglers from live streaming? Over the last couple years, there have been several anglers who have spent their own money, learned how to use the technology and live stream on their own channels, including YouTube and Twitter, probably Facebook and Instagram. And these anglers stream the days that they're out there fishing in the tournament. Now, I'm going to reference Chris Zaldain and Matt Robertson a lot in this video because they're the two that I have watched the most. I also believe Logan Parks does it, but in my case, I try to watch Chris and Matt and also the Bassmaster.com feed as the tournaments are ongoing. And stick to the end because I have a lot of questions that I'd like you to answer for me. Now, how does this hurt Bassmaster? Well, the truth of the matter is that if an angler is streaming live and you're a big fan of it, let's just say Chris or Matt or Logan, your eyes are not on Fox 1 or Fox Sports or Roku or even the Bassmaster.com feed. You will tend to stay with that angler that's streaming instead of watching the main show. And I'm going to read this. This is in their guidelines, their content usage guidelines, and it's included in Appendix B of the Elite Series rule. States that Bass holds the content rights to the tournament it owns and operates. Now, in 2026, they will not allow anglers to stream. They are going to include more cameramen out on boats and probably do things a little bit different. That's a good thing. But if you're one of those anglers, and let's just say they move from 6 to 10 cameramen, if you're not one of those top 10 anglers, there's a shot that you just aren't getting the coverage that you need. And when an angler goes and streams himself, Chris, Matt, Logan, whomever, the goal is to get eyes for your sponsor. Because, quite honestly, they have to act differently, or probably slightly different than what they normally would. Because a camera is following them and rolling on them nonstop. They want to go out there and fish, show how they're fishing, and be able to promote themselves. Because an angler is a brand. And there's a lot of sponsors. A lot of people put a lot of money behind those brands. So having the streaming, like Chris and these guys do, really is a benefit for their sponsors. And I do realize that this does hurt Bass. I can see both sides of this. And I'm going to tell you the pros and the cons here in a little bit. I can see how this hurts the viewership of Bass. But at the same time, isn't it a telling thing that anglers and fans would rather watch someone that doesn't have any commentary over what Bass is producing? If fans are watching Chris or Matt or Logan's live stream and do what they do, Bass should be looking at how to upgrade what they are doing. Because it really does say a lot. I'm one of those people. I will put a browser with Chris. I will put a browser with Matt. I'll put a browser and listen to the live stream on Bassmaster.com. But how does prohibiting or not allowing anglers to stream, how does that help grow the sport? Does it not hurt it more than help it? And if an angler is streaming, they've put out the money and the product to do what they do. And quite honestly, the Zaldain feed is fantastic. But he has his wife, Trait, doing all the things in the background, putting up the score, answering stuff on the chat. And really, there's more interaction on the chat that goes on than probably what Bassmaster realizes. And that is part of the issue of what's going on. We love the product that Bass puts out, but it has become outdated. There's no app. There's only 10 anglers that they show on the bottom screen. We don't know who is who if you're new to fishing. And we have so many commercials that you want to throw up, that you get discouraged about watching it. Not to mention, you have one feed that's on Fox, and then you have a live on Bassmaster.com, and they don't mix. They're not even the same. One has, I assume, has commentary. The live mix has none. And you get an angler with no commentary, with no talking, with no nothing, that's out there scoping or not catching fish for 30 minutes. Sometimes less. But there isn't any interaction. There's no production quality. And if you have it on one on Fox, have it on Bassmaster.com. Make it all together. Make it unified. Bring it together. And Bass keeps continuing to make some steps forward and some steps backwards. And I do believe that this is a real big step backwards. And it's great that they're going to expand coverage opportunities and bring more cameramen to the boats in 2026. But having an angler be able to promote himself, like, I don't mean any disrespect to Chris. He had a bad year last year. But he was never on camera, even when he probably should have been. Or not that I can remember. Maybe he was in one or two. Maybe he was at the Classic. I don't remember. But he didn't get the coverage that he wanted, probably. And here he's able to give the coverage he wants and also promote the sponsors. Because the sponsors are what is important. Because, let's be honest, there should be other anglers that are doing this in other organizations. I think Ott did it last year too, on Major League Fishing. And it was wonderful. The anglers make their money from the sponsorships, so they need to promote those sponsors at all times because, quite honestly, the payouts aren't that good. They haven't increased in years, other on the BPT, now the BFL, and the Pro Circuit. Bass has not increased payouts in ages. And Bass should be concerned on why. Bass should be concerned on why Chris and Matt's and Logan's numbers are so good. There should be a telling factor in that alone. And they should do that instead of taking it away. Because as they promote themselves and fishing and bringing new people to their stream, it only enhances Bass. Because they pay to be in Bassmaster. And are the elite anglers employees? And it's really crazy to think of this, but at times, Bass wants the anglers to be employees, but at other times they want them to be independent contractors. And at some point they need to put their foot down and figure out where it is and what needs to happen. And I'm trying not to, this is not about bashing Bass. I just think this is a bad decision. And to be quite honest, there are several anglers that believe it's not legit either and they hope that they backtrack on it. And my last question is, aren't we allowed to film in public places? And I know Bass has it in the rules, but there are a lot of rules that don't get enforced the way that they should. And I think this is a mistake for Bass because I see how it takes away eyes to the Bassmaster.com or the Bassmaster platform. I understand that. I would agree with them on that. But I think it also hurts the anglers more. And there's only a few of them that do this. And it seems like this is a knee-jerk reaction because I think that the Zaldane and the Robertson and everybody else who does it, the 2 or 3 people, they've seen those anglers enhance their brand because of it. And those anglers are getting paid from their sponsors. And if they're not getting the viewership or they're not getting the eyes on them, they need to do everything they can to work and make those eyes get on them and enhance their brand. And that's what the live streaming is about. It's about enhancing that angler's sponsors and the brand because the angler is the brand. The bigger the angler is, the better it is for Bass. I'm going to use Ben Milliken as an example. I've said this a million times. I think Ben is more important to Bass than Bass is to Ben. And that's not a slight. That really isn't a slight. Ben's brand and his social media presence is ridiculous. Nobody can deny that. Having him in your tournaments brings his fans to watch what he's doing and how he's fishing. And those people will watch. And now we have the Zaldanes and Robertson and all these guys that are live streaming and getting the eyes, which then reflects back on bass. And I'm not sure this is the right decision. And I'm to be honest, I'm disappointed in this. I'm really disappointed. But I don't make the rules, because if I made the rules, this would not be one I would remotely put in the rule book. But I do understand it at the same time. What do you think? Is this crazy? Should they be allowed to live stream? Comment below and tell me what you think. Do you think this is just a knee-jerk reaction to how popular some of these guys have gotten on their internet streams? Comment below. And thank you. I say it all the time, but thank you to all the people who are interactive on the channel. You guys are ridiculously amazing, and I can't say thank you enough. But I always will, so thank you. But if you're not a subscriber, hit that like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you know when the next video drops. And as always, remember, take a kid fishing, tight lines cheers, and get your fish on.